Hey everybody, Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast, and you know the drill by now. This week I'm actually throwing it back to a recording session from probably a couple months ago with just Randall and I, the last session that we had for like a proper, recording session of the episodes. We did actually 2 episodes in one night, so we don't do that too often, but whenever we do, that was with all 3 of us, but unfortunately there ends up not being a whole ton of stuff to pick from the cutting room floor here. So yeah, I had to throw it back a few weeks for a conversation with Randall and I. We always end up having marathon sessions whenever it just ends up being 2 of us, because I just feel like we're on a little bit less of like a time crunch of, juggling all 3 of our schedules. If it's just 2 of us, yeah, we just end up going off the rails a little bit on a bunch of different tangents and conversations and whatnot before we start recording the episodes proper. And yeah, no exception on this particular week where Randall and I ended up digging into a bunch of different stuff. The chunk of conversation coming up here is mostly talking about, like, we start off talking about like some various like specific one-off controllers and collectibles that we've grabbed over the years. Specifically, Randall mentioned some of his Street Fighter original Xbox controllers. And then we start talking about amiibo figures and collectibles and stuff like that, and like grabbing stuff on clearance. And then from there, this is back when I was polishing off Cuphead, even before I played through the DLC and everything with DJ. So we end up talking a little bit of Cuphead and about the difficulty in particular with that game. I kind of think it's not quite as hard as its reputation would lead a lot of folks to believe. So maybe a little extra encouragement for Randall and others to give that game a try if the difficulty's been scaring them away. And we talk a tiny bit of Metroidvania, not even really. I think it just comes up briefly in conversation, but some fun conversation coming up here with Randall and I in just a little bit, kind of just going through our like amiibo collections and some stuff that we either wish we had or wish was a little bit different about, the various collectibles and stuff from Nintendo and other companies over the years. But as far as some of the stuff that I've been playing lately, and actually before I get into that, I do want to also mention that the 5th annual Pursuing Pixels James Jam Game Gam is officially underway as of about a half hour ago, in terms of like when this episode goes live. It starts off at midnight every year, which I really got to stop doing that. I got to set it at because I always want to post like the theme and everything and like get the game jam kicked off right when it's starting. And I really got to have it set, to be like something in the morning or something after work, in the evening on one day. But in my head, I'm like, I just want it to be like, a full week, or actually in this case, it's going to be 8 full days of jamming. I'm still torn between a few different themes, and it looks like this year's definitely going to be the smallest jam that we've had so far, which is on one end a little bit of a bummer, but also kind of a blessing in disguise, because my back pain, as I've mentioned a bunch of times, has been kind of out of control lately, or not out of control, obviously, because I'm making it work, but it's definitely been higher than usual, and on top of that, it's just been a super busy schedule. So I think we're pretty close to the Game Maker's Toolkit game jam this year. We had to kind of push it back a little bit with some travel that I had going on last month. But yeah, we're close to that. We got the World Cup going on, basketball playoffs just wrapped up, hockey playoffs are going on. So I'm not trying to make excuses for the jam being a little bit smaller, but it's just, like I said, going to be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, I think. But I'm really excited to kick this one off. And it always, like I mentioned every year, I feel like it really gets my juices flowing again for like recording videos and doing some live streams, which I'm hoping will get back in the groove with that again once I start doing the streams for the entries for the jam. And one nice thing about it being a little smaller this time around, I'll hopefully be able to, barring any glitches or technical issues with anyone's games, I should be able to play pretty much everything this time around, knock on wood. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to kicking that off this year. Can't believe we've been doing it for 5 years already. And just being a little less active on social media and stuff, it's just going to be a little bit smaller this time around. But like I said, kind of looking forward to that for a number of reasons. But on to the stuff that I've been actually playing lately. I'll keep it kind of short and sweet here so I don't just ramble on. And also, I really haven't been digging into a ton of stuff lately. But I did want to give a quick shout out to a game that I mentioned a few Save It for the Casts ago. It was a game called LOK Digital, LOK. And the only reason I wanted to give this game a quick shout out again is because I was doing a little research on it or looking it up, because I was like, why are they calling this LOK Digital? Like, I thought that was just the name of the Switch version, but even on Steam, it was also called that. And apparently it started out as like an actual like pen and paper game where you like, lay it out on like graph paper or a grid and you just kind of play like a solitaire, or I guess in this case, it'd probably be better to play with a pencil and paper so you can erase and, change some options, or I guess just make a bunch of copies of the various like levels, if you will, the Sudoku style puzzles. But just a really cool game that plays fantastic. I actually recorded a quick video of the demo for that one the other day and was revisiting that and was just like, man, I really love this game. And the digital version is just so slickly illustrated and animated. It's just a really clean and satisfying game, and with playing the digital version, it's really nice to be able to redo and undo and just quickly reset the puzzle and undo your moves and stuff like that. It's just a really slickly designed version of the game, but I'm curious to kind of see how it plays out on pen and paper. But I do feel like it might get a little frustrating trying to, because then once you get past the first couple stages, I was definitely just kind of retrying and, okay, let's try this, okay, that doesn't work, let's reset the puzzle, or let's undo the last 2 or 3 moves. So having a good time with that one, revisiting that, and definitely a game that I'm going to scoop up, now that I've played the demo yet again, and even went a little deeper into the demo this time. And then kind of on the same vein of demos, although this was actually like a full game trial on Nintendo Switch, which is a little bit of a bummer because I feel like they don't do these very often, but it's really cool when they do. It basically just gives you like a limited window. I think this was like a 4-day or maybe it was a week-long trial where you could just download the entire game of Ball X Pit, or maybe it's Ball Cross Pit, but it's just kind of like one of the newer games from Devolver Digital, and it's kind of like a twist between Breakout and like a twin stick shooter, or Arkanoid if you're more familiar with that game. And I will say the reason I wanted to give this game a shout out, apart from it being one of these free game trials that I wouldn't have had the chance to check it out otherwise without just purchasing it. And one of the reasons that I didn't jump right on it, I tend to not necessarily gravitate towards Devolver games, but they do tend to publish some really solid and fun and satisfying indie games. It's hard to even call them an indie studio at this point, or indie publisher, but nonetheless, especially when they don't lean full tilt into like the super, hardcore violence or like just over the topness that some of their games tend to do. I tend to, gravitate towards their stuff a little bit. And this Ball X Pit gameplay wise was no exception, but I will say the visuals didn't really grab me right away when I saw the game, in various trailers, or I think they showcased it in a couple Nintendo Directs over the years, and it just didn't really grab my attention. But for a free game trial, I was like, hey, the gameplay looks fun, I'll give this a go. And I will say, like, having the game in my hands and seeing it in action, I actually really like the art style a lot. I didn't realize that it was like done in like this kind of, I don't know if it's sprite stacking or just some kind of like pseudo 3D pixel art. But I didn't realize that it kind of looked like it was just these 3D models when I saw the videos, I guess because it's just so like hyper high resolution or whatever. But in action, it really does look cool, and it's got a couple different layers to the gameplay. It's kind of like a roguelike or roguelite, more of a roguelite, I guess, because there is like a main core like progression outside of like the runs that you do, and the way they like incorporate the breakout mechanics even into that separate like hub world mode or whatever you want to call it that you go back to after your runs. Like you'll kind of like lay out your territory, and you'll build some like farmlands and some forests, and then you kind of like launch your characters into those areas, and they'll collect various resources so you can build more stuff. And just the way they incorporate that core gameplay mechanic into the various modes of the game is really, really cool. And it's definitely a game. I was playing the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and I'm assuming it's just that the, runs a little bit smoother, graphics are maybe a little more high resolution and whatnot. But yeah, it was just a really fun game that, like I said, unless there was a demo or something, I probably would have just thought, okay, that's another game from Devolver that looks cool that I might grab if it's like $5 one day. But now I'm like, okay, I'll probably grab this eventually. I still kind of held off on picking it up right away. It was even on sale for, I think, 10 instead of 15. But I was just like kind of leaning into how Randall and John have been, trying to play some of their stuff in the backlog. I've been, trying to ride their coattails a little bit and think, okay, yeah, I don't need to purchase every single game that goes on sale that looks interesting to me because I'm just going to run out of time here. But still definitely one that's on my, I didn't even have it on my wish list, I don't think. And this definitely got me to toss it back on there. I think I had put it on initially and removed it at one point, but it definitely was like, okay, I'll snag this game eventually. But Yeah, well, I guess one more game that I just wanted to give a quick shout out to here, and it's kind of a borderline shout out, but I've mentioned a few times now that my nephew's been on a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kick, and so pretty much every time I've been at any of like the local video game shops that I go to, I've been looking for any, physical Switch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, and there's even been a few that I was totally unaware of, and one that I was aware of, but only, happened to see it watching some YouTube videos with my nephew, just looking up various Turtles stuff. Saw this game called Mutants Unleashed, and it's kind of like a spin-off, if you will, of the movie that I've mentioned that I watched with my nephew, Mutant Mayhem, or not a spin-off, but kind of like a side story from that movie, if you will. It's got the same kind of art style and presentation and characters and whatnot, and I say that very lovingly. Like, they really kind of nail the art style and the presentation, and I'm sure they don't have all the voice actors from the movie. I can't imagine they got like Jackie Chan to do Splinter and stuff like that, and it's definitely not like Seth Rogen doing Bebop in the little bits that we played, although we didn't play much of this game. Just got to play maybe like an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half, but probably only an hour, if that, of gameplay, because the one thing I will kind of levy as a complaint, at least on the Switch version of this game, is the loading times, which I saw online and I knew was going to be an issue, but nonetheless, I was like, if we're just hanging out and, we can just have some snacks while we're, waiting for the game to load, or we typically will, my mom will make us a smoothie while we're hanging out and playing some games for my nephew and I. So, just having a lot of fun with playing that game. And it really just captures that energy from the movie and the art style so well. It's got a kind of an interesting structure to the game. My brother, I was talking to him about it. We did kind of like an early Father's Day thing last night before next weekend, since some of the family's going to be out of town. And he was saying, like, you kind of pick your different missions, and there's like an actual, like, not real-time calendar, but after you like select a mission, that will like progress time, to the evening or to the next day or something like that. And then it might rule out, like, some of these missions are on a timeline that after a certain, date on the calendar, it might expire, or it might, need to be completed by this time. If you haven't finished it by then, I guess same thing. It might expire by then. So it's got an interesting structure. It's not just like, go one level at a time. It's got some light RPG elements. Like, it seems like you're going to be able to level up your characters and unlock some new moves and stuff like that. But it's got a little bit of jank around the edges. Like, there were some parts where like you were clearly getting locked behind an invisible wall while like one of us was progressing. But it's got, 2-player co-op. And with my nephew just being on such a big Turtles kick, I'm basically just looking for any excuse to scoop up one of these games. I didn't end up keeping it in my collection. I ended up just after we played it, and it was one of our last weeks of babysitting, so I kind of gave it to him as a gift to, celebrate for the summer kicking off and everything like that. And since I won't be seeing them every single week, at least not set in stone like I was with babysitting, I'm sure I'll still see them a decent amount, if not every week, just not on a set schedule like we had going there. So I'm definitely going to miss, my weekly gaming sessions with him, but I'm hoping also that I'm, looking forward to having my Wednesdays I normally have Wednesdays off apart from babysitting. So I'll have some time to kind of sink my teeth into some games. Like I've really been kind of just bouncing around and not really digging into anything, more deeply that's got a little more meat on the bones. So I'm looking forward to, I'm going to miss babysitting for sure, but I'm really looking forward to having those Wednesdays off and having some time to properly sink my teeth into some of these games that I've been putting off for way too long here. But like I said, I think I said I was going to keep it short and sweet here at the beginning, but I've done more than enough rambling here per usual, so I'll kick it over to Randall and I here for the rest of the conversation and episode here. And until next week, we will catch you then, and take care, and best of luck to anyone who's jamming with us for the 5th annual Pursuing Pixels James Jam Game Gam. Take care, and we'll catch you next week.
Like controllers from the original Xbox. I don't even have a working original Xbox, but I've got these like Street Fighter controllers that I bought way back when.
I remember those.
Yeah, because it was like, oh my God, the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. Finally, there's another way to play Third Strike. Let's get some of these, 6-button controllers that are...
Yeah.
And those are cool, but I have no way to use those, and I've got better controllers since. So like, there's just a lot of that stuff. It's like it's time.
Yeah, and like unless I have like a full blown area where I can like put that stuff on display.
Yeah,
and even still, it's like, I mean, maybe if I had the Street Fighter controller of my all time favorite character, like but I don't need to have like the full lineup of every character they made or anything like that,
Totally.
Which is the type of person I would have been like, especially because I remember them like clearancing those controllers out at one point in time and just being like, oh, I should buy all these, Like, even like I bought those Street Fighter 6 amiibos, even though they're cool, I think they're awesome and they were $5, big whoop, but like, I definitely didn't need to buy those. I could have 10 extra bucks in my pocket if I just didn't buy them.
I know it. I know it all too well. Yes. And
but you're just like, man, these are normally $25. And
exactly.
they're only $5. And they are really well made. They look cool.
They are great. Yeah, they're very well made. But then now you say, like, what are they worth to me? Yeah.
I know. Yes. And now I bought 2 of them and I didn't get the third one that they made. And now I still see it every now and then for full price. And I'm like, well, should I just buy it and round out all 3 of them?
Mm-hmm,
like, no. Like, only if I see it for that same $5 price again, or like some, super discounted price, I would consider it. But
which you probably never will. Yeah,
I saw it half off the other day somewhere, like for like $12.50, but I was still like, no, it's got to be like pocket change level purchase. It can't be
$5 is nuts for those amiibos for what that's worth.
Yeah, I was juiced to snag those for that price.
I mean, I pulled out like all of the amiibos that we have here, and it was more than I realized. I was like, oh, geez, because we had to scan them all into the Yoshi's Woolly World game to see what Yoshi's would pop up. So, all those guys pulled out.
That's kind of cool. Yeah,
yeah.
I still don't have that many. Like, I have the woolly, yarn Yoshi. And then I have Meta Knight, Kirby, and DDD. I think all from Smash.
DDD is a great amiibo.
It is. And then I have Falco.
Nice.
And then I have the 3 Spectre Knight, King Knight, and Plague Knight.
Got those two
ones.
Yep. Plus the
Shovel Knight. And I really need to get. I need to get Shovel Knight. Just same logic. I'm like, I have all 3 of those. I gotta get Shovel Knight.
I wonder if that's even that easy to get a hold of these days.
I've seen it at a few of like the game shops around, like obviously not like in a package, but I think it was a little bit more, it was like $20 or something used or something.
Yeah, it looks like, loose price is about $15 on price charting. It's not too bad.
Okay. That's doable.
Not that I'm trying to talk you into buying more
if I saw a clean one at the game shop, I would definitely scoop up a Shovel Knight. Like I've seen Olimar a few times. That's one I don't have that I'm like, it's a really cool one too. But every now and then, like that's one of the ones that I don't like. The helmet looks a little chintzy.
Oh,
like the clear helmet. Like I've seen somewhere like the seam on it just makes it look kind of cheesy, the way they like seam the plastic together. And I'm like, I don't love the way that one looks.
I know. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Which is a shame because it's otherwise a really cool. Like I like how it's like a really actiony. Like I feel like he's like getting ready. He's like throwing some Pikmin.
Yeah,
it's a cool like pose and stuff. But
yeah, some of those it's just like y'all really put the detail in on these.
They really do. Oh, and I forgot about. I do have the Metroid Dread. Like I got that 2-pack that came with like the Emmy and which I got that for crazy cheap. It was I think they had it mismarked for like $15.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Which I have seen it since I've seen it clearanced out. I think it was one that they expected to sell like gangbusters and didn't quite.
I think that one gives you some kind of a gameplay benefit too. I remember using one or both of those.
I think it does too. Some kind of makes something with the Emmy sections like a little easier, or like gives you a little like extra ammo or something. Or
yeah, the Samus figure grants permanent plus 100 energy tank upon first use. Emmy unlocks the missile plus tank. 10 plus capacity, yeah.
Okay, so a little boost in the overall stats.
Yep.
Nice. I've never actually used an amiibo like in a game ever.
Oh, really?
Why, but I've never tried it. Yeah.
No, I've done it some. In fact, I know like I have the Midna and Wolflink amiibo that's been out while we've been playing Twilight Princess, and that does unlock a specific extra like cave or like side thing in Twilight Princess HD on Wii U, and I've not done it yet. Yeah, I want us to like progress further to make sure that we're like maximizing the benefit of that. Yeah, with like the capabilities and whatever else that are going to get unlocked through the regular campaign. But I'm like, all right, well, we're going to use this one too. We're gonna use these as the interactive figures they are.
Yeah.
When possible, anyway.
I should do that more, but I'm always just I buy them just because I do think they are just like, hey, these are really well made figurines. Like they're thick, they're sturdy, they're painted well. Typically, I very rarely see one where I look at it and oh, that one looks kind of shitty.
Right.
That's almost never happened, to be honest. Like I'm like, man, that's a really detailed design. That's cool.
They did. They definitely invest in them. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the quality control on them is really like this. Like I'm picking up this Emmy right now. Like this thing looks fucking sweet.
Yeah, it does. And the color really pops on the Samus figure from Dread.
It does.
The blue.
The way it kind of like has that like that metallic look to it.
Yes.
Even like the eyeball on this Emmy, like this like red see-through thing is awesome.
Yes. If you're beating hard games, that's one to potentially go back to, especially with you being in your Metroidvania mode too.
I've been tempted. I honestly was looking at that game and that Prince of Persia Lost Crown the other day. And like was torn. Yeah. Like looking at both of them, and then I for whatever reason picked up Cuphead instead. But
there's nothing wrong with that either. Obviously,
I'm juiced to have beaten that game. I kind of thought I was going to get stumped for a second, and I was like, no, I kept the momentum going, and I was like, okay, and it's not that hard if you have just a little determination. It's not that hard of a game.
I feel like really I kind of psyched myself out in the moments when that game first came out and I bought it.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it's so beautiful. And like, I bought the vinyl soundtrack and everything. I'm like, this is so cool. But then like, everyone was like, oh, so hard. And then like, I just, of course, busy time of life. When is there not? But then it was just like it wasn't like doing as well as I expected in the once or twice that I gave it a kind of shot, and then have not like really been like, I am playing Cuphead right now. I'm going to sit with this and really get a handle and like the game feel of this under my belt. I've not spent that time with it. And the Gunstar Heroes direct inspiration on top of everything else. Like, what am I doing? That is a game I have to spend more time with.
And I wonder if you and Tina would have fun playing that co-op too. Although I will say my first experience with the game was playing it co-op with our buddy Mikey. And I kind of had the same reaction that you sort of had. Was like, oh, this is like kind of frustrating and hard. It's cool. But at the time too, it was only on Xbox. And I was like, oh, I don't have an Xbox. So I just kind of like wrote it off as like, oh, it's a game that it's cool, but I'm never going to play it. And it's kind of hard. I don't have anybody to play it co-op with anyways. So no big deal. Or I'll just play it at Mikey's when I feel like playing it. So, but definitely glad I have it and glad I stuck with it. But yeah, it's not that hard. And I say that like, I'm sure if I looked up the stats for how many times I died and or like, quickly paused and hit retry, it would probably be a very high number. But I still just think, and I think that boss rush thing was a smart decision, because if you had to keep playing levels to get to the boss each time, that would be so frustrating. I mean, I guess they could have had a checkpoint once you got to the boss, but like, even that, like, it's just nice to just start, like, learn those patterns and just not have to worry about anything else but learning those patterns. And they shuffle them up enough so it's not just rote memorization.
Nice.
Like they might do what they typically do. Like, I don't know, they have a series of like 4 different attacks, but they might do them in any order. It's not like they're just going to always do the first attack, then the second, then the third, then the fourth.
That's really cool to hear. I like that a lot.
Some bosses do, but definitely the devil would like rotate the order of its attacks. And so it's like, okay, you can't just get prepared to do the same thing every time.
That's sweet. I think that has a lot of appeal to me.
For sure. It throws a little luck into the mix.
Yeah, and just like in being engaged and not just going through the motions, it's like you really like what's he gonna throw at me now? Like,
and especially when every new thing is just another amazing, incredible animation.
Yes,
every new thing you see is like, whoa, holy crap, that's cool, or that was clever, that was creative.
God, and it's so pretty. Yeah,
it's awesome. That game rules.
I almost like wanted to. Like, I think part of the reason too why I hadn't booted is like, should I put this on arcade stick? But I'm like, no, maybe that'd make it too hard. I probably should just stick with a controller. Like, I'm sure that's the way
I could see either way. Like you play enough games on the arcade stick where like I could see you maybe being able to get a good feel with it. But
because for what it's worth, I played it like handheld with the Joy-Cons, and it went okay. So
nice. That's good to know too.
There was only a few times, like you can do like if you lightly tap the jump button, you do like a shorter jump, or if you hit it all the way. And I did find it a little bit difficult to do like a light tap on the Joy-Con, and like, at least with the way they have the responsiveness for this game.
Yeah.
Of the jump button. Like I more often than not would do a full jump, even if I wasn't trying to do one every time.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Where I was tempted to like, should I just like pull, even I was tempted to like not even hook it up to the dock or anything, but just like, let me just pull out the kickstand and play it with the Pro Controller. But I never did. I got all the way through it with I might have played some of it on the TV, like initially, when I played through the first 2 islands, but definitely did the whole 3rd island handheld. So,
jeez,
not bad.
That's impressive too.
But it's perfect for that. That game definitely does. If you're not playing co-op, lends itself perfectly to playing handheld.
That is really cool. Yeah, that's sweet too. Just to have that on Switch that way.
Yeah, and it runs great. The load times are pretty good. At least, obviously, I'm assuming it's a little better on Switch too, but. Load's pretty great, and I very rarely noticed. I think only in the one Devil battle, one time I noticed a frame drop like a couple times, but that's it. And even that, I don't even know for sure if it was or if I was just like in the heat of the action and kind of got swept up in it.
Yeah.
And again, playing handheld, so I'm sure it would run even a little smoother if it was docked. So
yeah. Were you playing on Switch too then? This with your Switch cartridge? Yeah.
I was, yeah. But I did read that supposedly it's like even on Switch, it like runs at 60 frames per second, like pretty solid without, the load times are a little longer, but other than that, it like runs solid. And it doesn't look like, so like, for example, it takes a little longer to load when you're doing like the Devil battle, I remember. Yeah. But then once you load it, like if you do a quick pause and retry or you die and retry, there's like no loading at all.
Thank goodness.
It's
that's
already
what
got
we're
that
looking
all queued up.
That's
so
exactly
as long as I only
what
have to sit through it once. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't take me back to the PS1 days of loading that disc every time, skipping back to the right spot on the file.
No, it needs to stay in the RAM or whatever so that I can just bop. Yep, I hear it starts right like, there we go. We're going again. Like that's perfect for that sort of a game that way.
Yeah, the only time that I felt the loading at all, and even so it was pretty quick, but during that like kind of roulette rolling the dice section, it would have to go to like a quick loading screen between each boss and then going back to the main screen of like the roulette screen. So like that kind of like if you had a particularly long run where you keep rolling ones and you're like, again, another fight, you're just like, oh my God, it got a little bit tedious. And then if you ended up losing after a long run, you're just like, oh my God, I don't have the energy to do this again.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm juiced. You know what? I might convince myself because I texted DJ to tell him I beat Cuphead. Mm-hmm. And he's coming into town at the end of the month, and he mentioned that he's never played the DLC. Oh, so I might be able to play a little co-op. Like I could see us getting into that co-op DLC. That might be
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea because that'll actually get me to get to that in a more timely fashion as opposed to maybe never doing it. Yeah,
that's the move. Yeah,
I've already been thinking about
hardcore enough to bash his head against the wall.
Yep.
Too,
for sure. And especially if it's not like because he's going to be in town from Friday to Monday, and not like all day. Like it'll pretty much be like Friday night, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
But we could definitely probably polish that off in that time. Like Cuphead, for example, took me my time played on Switch says 8 hours total. So like that doesn't seem that crazy for I would have expected like, oh man, you got to beat your head against the wall for 25 hours.
Exactly.
I was shocked that I was done with it that quickly.
Yeah, like the actual game content, not necessarily 8 hours, but the replay because it's so difficult. You would think would be well over 10
like
hours.
10, 12, 15, something in that ballpark.
Yes.